So the Gaslight District is full of lore, and there are definitely things that you didn't know about this show, so in this video I'm going to share with you 34 facts about the characters, the production, the hidden details, and everything you need to know. So the creator of the Gaslight District is Nick Sopko, and he's actually worked as a 3D animator on stuff like Hell of a Boss and a few animated music videos too. But this show is completely his. It's the first time he's leading a whole project that's based on just his own ideas and his own style. And you can definitely feel that, because the show has such a unique atmosphere that you don't really see anywhere else. Nick actually came up with the idea for the Gaslight District when he was only 13 years old. He said that he first drew Ken in French class, and the whole idea just stayed with him ever since, and it only kept growing and evolving over time. And it's crazy that something he thought of as a kid turned into a full show years later. Glitch and Nick have been working on the pilot for about 3 years, and yeah, even though it's just one episode, it's super obvious how much love and care went to it. This level of detail showed that they really took their time, but honestly it was 100% worth it, because the world feels so alive and so weird in the best way possible. If you check out Nick's old Tumblr, you can actually find concept art from way back in 2017. For example, there's an early version of Mel, a character called Construction Worker Wally, who kind of looks like Ken. Then there's Cone Boy, who's literally just a guy with a traffic cone body, and another character named Ed, who probably got pushed aside, or maybe it's possible we'll see more of him later. But we also have an early concept of Bretthead, and honestly he already looked pretty much finished even back then. And it's kind of funny how Bretthead just kinda came out fully formed. The main trio of Ken, Bretthead, and Mud is based on the old Rub-a-Dub-Dub nursery rhyme. You know, the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker. But obviously here it's way creepier and more disgusting than the original. Bretthead is Ken the butcher's accident son. And yeah, he's just literally a pile of living mold. Don't ask me how that's possible. And the crazy thing is, nobody even acts like that's weird. It's just treated like a normal everyday thing, which honestly makes it even more unsettling. After Nick came up with all the characters, he said almost every design changed over time except for Bretthead. Bretthead's final look was done basically on the first try, as we could see on the sketch from 2017. Bretthead doesn't eat normal food or drink booze like everyone else. Instead, he shoves bottles of broth straight into his head and snorts quick-drying yeast to grow bigger and stronger. And it's kind of interesting, because yeast is actually used to ferment sugars and turn them into alcohol in beer. So in a really twisted way, he's just skipping the brewing process and going straight to the source. Bretthead can also play the piano. Like, why? How? But also, of course he can. It's one of those random talents that somehow makes total sense for a character like him. Mud was inspired by Torment from Return of the Living Dead, but Nick made him look sexy. And if you watch Mud moving around in the pilot, you can kinda see it. Like, he's slimy but also weirdly charismatic somehow. And it kinda makes him stand out from the rest of the characters. Ken apparently only wears underwear under his apron according to Nick, but if you look really closely in the pilot, it kinda looks like he has literally nothing under that apron, which is just peak Ken behavior, honestly. It is implied that the city underneath the Gaslight District is located 1,000 fathoms down. That's like 1.40 miles or 1.8 kilometers. And that is something that definitely adds to the claustrophobic feeling the show gives off, because even if you escape the streets, you're still trapped deep underground. If you look closely, there are runes hidden all over the background, and some dedicated people figured out that there's actually a custom alphabet you can use to decode them. Some of them even reveal super important lore, which I'm sure will mean a lot in the future, so it's worth pausing and trying to read them if you want all the little secrets. During the pilot, there's also a couple little nods to Murder Drones, another show made by Glitch. After Mel meets the Angel Mother, you can spot a pile of corpses that are basically the same as the worker drones from Murder Drones, and later Diligence pops a blade out of his arm just like a disassembly drone would. But the shows aren't connected. Glitch just like to reuse assets sometimes, like they did with the teacup in the Amazing Digital Circus. Mel is 20 years old, and so far only her age is confirmed. Mel's name is actually a reference to the Gorillaz song On Melancholy Hill, and it fits so well because the whole Gaslight District has that same sad but dreamy kind of energy, like it's beautiful and depressing at the same time. Nick said that Mel likes to lie. Obviously, the show's title, The Gaslight District, gives it away a bit, but I'm pretty sure that the real lying from Mel is only coming in the next episodes, after her plan went down miserably, and they need to protect her coverage. So things are definitely gonna get messier for her. Every single drawing we see in the pilot that's supposed to be Mel's art was actually drawn by her voice actor, Alana Fitzgerald. Nick said that it was super important that the drawings really felt like they came from the character herself, and this is a really thoughtful little detail. In the pilot, Mel is seen reading a magazine that's basically the Playboy of the Gaslight District, and yeah, it pretty much confirms that she's into women, but then literally right after that, she's shown flirting with Romeo, the busboy, so we can assume that she's most likely bisexual. When Mel's reading that magazine, she gets a nosebleed, which gives her away to her coworker. And fun fact, the nosebleed is a reference to an old anime trope where extreme arousal supposedly causes a nosebleed. Not scientifically accurate, obviously, but it's a really common gag in anime. Also, the woman on the magazine cover that Mel's looking at is actually the same woman Ken was flirting with earlier in the episode, so yeah, a weird family overlap happening there. Mel shares her voice actress with Sin from Murder Drones, so if her voice sounded a little familiar, that's why. Diligence is voiced by Michael Kovac, who's basically in every glitch show at this point. He voices Anne in Murder Drones and Jax in The Amazing Digital Circus 2. In the background of this one scene, we actually see that there were more virtues besides diligence and temperance, but they seem dead now. So maybe there used to be a whole group and we're only seeing the leftovers. The main inhabitants of the Gaslight District are called Roughlings. They are basically immortal and can come back from almost anything thanks to something called the Black Hand. We could see that maybe the only way to get rid of them is cementing them, but Jack was pulled back from the bottom of the water at the end of the pilot, so maybe it's not that easy. Roughlings also have this really creepy thing where they sew each other's body parts onto themselves if they lose limbs. It's treated super casually, but when you stop and think about it, it's actually pretty insane. The Roughlings also even carry organ donor cards, like they can offer their bodies to science after they die, which again sounds normal until you realize how messed up that actually is in this world. Litterbugs are these little weird creatures that live around the district. They whisper to each other in the background, and honestly nobody really knows what they are saying. If you want to create a bread golem, you need the souls of 1000 litterbugs. So yeah, making breadhead probably wasn't exactly easy. I don't exactly know how Ken managed. Mal doesn't even have a real bedroom. He just sleeps in the meat freezer at the Whale Belly butcher shop, and nobody even acts like that's weird. When Ken's talking about Inferno, you can spot the ninth circle of hell, treachery in the background. There's even a slab labeled Antonora, which in Dante's Inferno is where traitors against their country get sent. And finally, even though Mel looks like a zombie, there's a scene where you can actually see that she's got normal human skin under her clothes. I'm guessing that she's gonna have a pretty hard time keeping that covered up. But these were the 34 facts about the Gaslight District. Let me know what you think about them down in the comments. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.